Guys, we just reached 200 subscribers. 200 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for liking my videos. Thank you for subscribing. That means a lot to me. And I'm really glad that some people like the content that I make. It really means a lot to me. I was a loss of words for that. But now I'm gonna make a special video just for you, and it's about a subject that I really love. And that is Western games. I love Western games, and I love the Western genre in particular. There are just so many great Western things: the Wild Bunch, Django Unchained, the Trilogy of Dollars. Yeah, once upon a time in the West, there are just so many great Western movies. And there are actually some really great Western video games. They aren't really that frequent in the industry, but there are some great Western games. And these are 10 that I love. Number 10 is Lead and Gold, Gangs of the Wild West. It's a multiplayer only game, I think only available for PC, and it's a blast to play. You have two teams, TF2 style or Quake style, and you just go at it in a third-person shooter. There are arenas, there are different objectives, it's just a blast to play. But it's a number 10 only because barely no one plays it. There are just 20 people that still play it. It's always the same 20 people. So guys, if you're watching this video, go out and support this game. It's amazing, you won't regret it, and we might encounter each other on it. Number 9 is Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath. I'm not the biggest fan of the Oddworld games. I do like them, I do think they're really well developed. But Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is the most actiony of them, and it's also a lot of fun to play through. It has all the tropes of a Western movie, the main character, the main story. The combat is also really well done, and still has that flavor of the Oddworld games that I really like in the end. Number 8 is Six Guns. It's a mobile and Windows Store game, which is actually really good. It's open world, it's for third person. There are microtransactions, they're really aggressive, but if you're like me, you will just play it for 10-15 minutes a day and then play it the day next. But it's a really well developed game, it's a blast to play if there are friends with you, and it's free, so what's better than that? Number 7 is Red Dead Revolver. You may know a more famous game like this, let's call it its cousin. Red Dead Revolver is a good game. It's not the best Western game by a lot, but it's a fun game. It was developed for PS2 and Xbox, and it has aged really well actually. But there are many problems, including the open world, which isn't all that alive. It's a very linear game in my opinion, and more similar to one of those old arcade style games. So if you like the genre, buy it. You can also emulate it if you have the original disc on your PC. So it's a good game though. Number 6 is Outlaws. This is one of my childhood games. I remember playing it, hearing that music. It's still in my head, and you're also listening to it now. And it's an amazing game. It's a first-person shooter. There is an interesting story, there are interesting characters, the levels are really huge, and they are full of secrets, including one of my favorite Easter eggs that almost no one talks about, which is the alien spaceship Easter egg, which was really scary as a kid actually. Well, let's move on to numbers 5. Number 5 is Call of Juarez, Gunslinger, which was a big surprise for me actually. because even though I kinda liked Call of Juarez the Cartel, it wasn't really all that great. So when this new one was announced, I wasn't all that excited, but then it came out. It's what I like. It's a short game, but it's full of action. It's basically only action. The story is also really funny, it's really well written, and it has a great moral at the end. Just a blast to play through. I think I'm saying blast to play through for almost all those games. Whatever. Number 4 is so far one of my favorite games of 2015. Westerado, Double Barreled. Oh, just hearing that music, that's probably one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. It really is there. It's an RPG action game, it's open world, it's hilarious. The main story is not interesting at all. You don't care about the main story because it's not about the main story. It's about the journey, it's about the people that you find on your path. It's about what you do, because killing one person instead of another, doing some missions instead of others, there are very big consequences in the game, which is something that I always enjoyed. And it's just a long game and really replayable, and I'm still playing it to this day, even after reviewing it, which is something that rarely happens with some games. Number 3 is Gans. This also has some nostalgia value to it. It's a fun game, the story is really Hollywood-like, actually. And there are many Hollywood celebrities like Thomas James and Ron Perlman. It's just a great Western story. The open world is okay. You will find some bandits, there are usually 1 or 2 that you can headshot really easily from your horse. And there are also some side activities which are just made to give you more money, but the main focus is on the story, and it's a great story. And it has a great atmosphere, and it's a great Western game overall. Number 2, Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And it's not only because it has 2 of my favorite characters in a video game, it's not because it has a really interesting and deep story actually. It's not because of the soundtrack. It's probably because of the user-created content. You can create, it's also really easy to use, you can create an open world experience. You can create a huge area, put some buildings in it, you can also put some cows, some horses to ride, you can put some quests, you can make an epic game all by yourself. It's just amazing, it's something that I also love. And plus, there is also multiplayer, which is also really alive to this day. Some people still play it, and that's saying something. Number 1 is the best game of all time, in my opinion, and easily one of my top 5 games of all time. Red Dead Redemption. It has literally everything that I love in a video game. A great main character, a great story, great combat, third-person camera, horses. It's a perfect game. And also, if you don't really like the single player, or if you're getting tired of the single player, you just jump into the multiplayer. You get a bunch of friends, you ride along the countryside, you start attacking bandits, you take part on quests, you start fist fights. This is the masterpiece of Rockstar. GTA 5 is a good game, this is a fantastic game. And I think it deserves being the best Western game of all time. Well guys, this was my personal list of the top 10 Western games of all time. Leave a comment below with your favorite Western game, or your personal list, whatever. Tell me if you completely disagree with me, if you think that Red Dead Revolver is better than Red Dead Redemption. There are actually some guys saying that, even though I can't see how you can say that. And also, thank you very much for subscribing to me. It means a lot, and I'm grateful. I really am. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.